All right. About that. We've had today's the Gremlins have this
Right.
today. Last week went perfect. Today, it's
Yeah.
been, but Justin, we were in the midst of you talking about the improvement, the areas that you've
Mhm.
seen of improvement these last couple of
Mhm.
weeks.
They've really just bought into the formation we're running. We're running a 4-3-3 this year. That's four defenders back, three mid, and then three up top, like a forwards and wing. And they bought into the rotation and filling gaps or on a soccer field.
Right.
As and you alluded last year, last week, it's there's no timeouts. You're running this full length of the field, and you've talked about the field size. It's a pretty big field that you got to cover, and
Sure.
for a middle school girl, that's a lot of area.
Mhm.
It takes not only that first 11 that plays, but six girls that's coming in, and the girls coming in are uh, just very nicely to continue the flow of the game where we want it.
We'll get to our players here in a moment. I want yesterday's 5-0 win over Wyoming. First ever day game for the Saints. What was that experience like?
It was wild. It was wild. It was the coach was kind of the pioneer in that last. The I was like, man, this would be really cool if we could, Lady Saint home game during the day.
Yeah.
And this was a do it because it's a team that like the school needed to see. Got a lot of players that had a long time. It's worked hard, and I was just so to see the students. 5 goals. That's a high scoring game. So
Yeah.
they saw a good game.
Good. And it's always good to see.
Right. That gets in. Everybody was a little nervous at the beginning, but then we started putting the back of the net, caught our breath, and it was good. Finished that conference win out.
Your players on this is our player interviews here on the Blitz. Have you ladies, Hannah Tobit and Corey. Hannah, what position do you play on?
I'm in 8th grade and I play left wing, striker a little bit.
Okay. Most about uh, soccer, the game in general.
It's just a team sport together, just with everyone who plays, and that one knows how to work with each other. Because if we didn't, there's no way we could do. And so it's seeing everyone through and everyone like work.
What's the strength of this team in your mind? What are some things that really stand out that you think this team does exceptionally well?
Um, Defense, like our defense is great. Like all four who come in, everyone couldn't do it out. Um, Taylin, our goal, she saved some great goals, but it was some goals she couldn't give. The defense get in front of first. Our defense is just. Mm,
Do you think that maybe that a lot that may not soccer don't understand the goalie is only line of defense? There's a hole back there. Do you think maybe don't actually realize that?
I think they do because a lot of leagues they're working on defense because they think it don't matter. Have a goalie back there.
Mhm.
If middle school, high school, that if you didn't have defense, there's no way to win a game or even get close.
When you look at the team as a whole, what do you think this team accomplished? What are maybe some that even you all have set since the beginning of the year?
Well, Macon County beat us last year, all good for last year, or like playoffs. So definitely come, and we tied Macon too, which was a great accomplishment.
Mhm.
And so if we can keep getting better, go against the two teams who knocked out and getting up there playing like for a trophy, it,
What's the one Coach Noakes is yelling at this, reminding you all to do? I'm sure that'll be something.
it's hard to think.
Just for those not sitting there.
Let me exit for a minute. Tom. Really, speaker mind.
Definitely a lot of running.
Yeah.
Like telling you to run because let's get tired, especially that day game. It was hot,
I bet.
and so um, definitely some people forgetting to rotate. So he's telling us to move and.
Hannah, what do you do to kind of condition yourself other than practice for all of that running? As you mentioned yesterday, 99 degrees out there. How do you prepare yourself for that?
My mom teaches me to run a mile neighborhood, so
Mom shaking her head, by the way.
that's what I do. I try to run at least every day during the summer for practice, but I try.
Usually Okay, but you good shape, you staying good too.
I have to. Yep.
All right, Cora Gilly is our next guest. Cora, what grade are you in, and what position you play?
I'm in 8th grade and I play right defense.
All right. Talk about aspects of your game that you feel like are strongest, and maybe some things that you're still working on that you want to improve in.
I've gotten a lot better at just keeping them in front of me, the strikers on the other team, just like not stabbing at them. And I think I need to get better at just clearing it out sometimes. It just like comes off different.
When you're talking about stabbing at him, kind of explain that terminology, if you would, so people that may not understand know what you're kind of talking about there.
When you stab at them, you stick a foot out and just like try to get the ball. And if you do that, they can just go right on by you.
Right. So you really have to be careful when you're doing it. Kind of like basketball, I guess. When you go for a steal, you got to be careful because if you miss, they may go around you, right? What do you like most about this team? What really stands out? And it may be something off the field, but what do you love about this team?
I love how we can work as a team, just get good passes, and how supportive they are. And having 3 awesome coaches just makes it a lot better.
3 awesome coaches. She is buttering just enough down here for sure.
Trying to get out of laps on Monday. Right?
DC Blitz served up by DeKalb County Insurance. What are some things that the coaches really break down? I'm sure it gets fundamental at times, but some things that they really do try to emphasize for you all to keep in mind.
Just to keep our formation, just keep good passes, and like just keep triangles and everything, like formation, keeping a good pace on the field, all that.
Hannah was talking about conditioning and running and things like that. Do you ever get to a point in the game where you're just tired? Does it ever happen?
Yes, it happens a lot.
Do you like motion over and like help me here, or are you just kind of at the mercy of what coach wants you to do?
You can. I don't like to, but I have to call. I have to call in for a sub sometimes when I'm getting like really hot and like out of breath.
What are some things you do to kind of help in conditioning? Like we were talking about with Hannah, some things maybe away from practice that you do yourself.
Well, during the summer before our season starts, I try to run at least 2 to 3 miles a week. Sometimes I don't get there, but I try, and I try to touch the ball every now and then to keep good footwork.
Do you get out and run when it's hot, like you said in the summer? So, like those really hot days of July, do you get out and run during that time to kind of help with conditioning?
Some days it's really hot and I just have to go out there, but I like to wait for when it's cooler, and it makes it easier to run.
Coach was talking about the last couple of weeks. You all kind of started slow. You had some tough competition the last couple of weeks. You're seeing some things come together. What's maybe one of the biggest changes you've seen in the team or biggest improvements here in these last couple of weeks?
Well, we've gotten a lot better at communicating. There's some times where we're just not talking and we're all like bundled up, but we've gotten a lot better at communicating. Our formation is really great. And I think we're just getting a lot better at everything.
How important is communication on the soccer field? And when you talk about communication, is it a constant, kind of talking amongst yourselves to make sure everybody's where they're supposed to be?
Yes, it's really important. If 2 people are going at the ball, then they can just run right into each other and the ball will go right past them. You can get a goal off that and it'll end up on the scoreboard. But it's always like constant talking to each other, making sure we know what we're doing.
I want to ask you both this question. Are you planning to continue your soccer careers into high school? And what would you like to accomplish before you're done playing the game of soccer? Cora, I'll start with you.
I would like to try out for high school soccer. I think it'd be really fun, a great opportunity. And
you have any visions maybe playing college someday even?
I'm not sure about college yet.
Okay. We got to take small steps, right? I won't push too hard there. Hannah, what about you?
Yeah, I would like to play high school a lot. College, I have no idea about, but
You got a ways to go.
Yeah.
You can, Well, I wish you both the very best. And Justin, you got 2 great young ladies here, I can tell, and very passionate about the game. I want to close out with this, something we talked to Coach K about last week. Having that developmental program. And I know it starts formatively at Northside with the rec league, but now having that middle school program, and you having played for Coach K back in your playing days, how much has this helped the program as a whole? And I'm going to say, all of it, from rec league on up to high school, kind of being on that same page. In fact, having a lot of former players who are even coaching in the rec leagues too.
Oh, it's just leaps and bounds, Tom. Just the way, when we first got soccer into DeKalb, it was, Coach K, 4 years. You got 4 years to to improve to get to the level you need to get to. And now we're starting, for my kid's 4 years old in it.
Yeah.
And they're starting to play, and then they're going through, and then you've got in every division at Rec League over at Northside, you've probably got a former player coaching it.
Yeah.
And then on my staff, very lucky to have Coach Cameron Lester. He's the PE teacher at DeKalb Middle. This is his 10th season with us, and just – he keeps me level-headed. I'd probably got a lot more yellow cards if it wasn't for him. He keeps me level-headed.
Have you got a red card yet?
Not yet. I'm trying to stay off of that, Tom. I'm trying to stay away from that. And also very lucky to have Coach Ricardo Gutierrez. He's been with us for 3 years. All these former DeKalb soccer players. So we kind of keep it in the family. Just like these ladies, keep it in the soccer family. I had the privilege to coach their older sisters. So it's just, once you get in that kind of tight-knit soccer family, you kind of feel, like they said, as a team, and that's why we've been improving these last 3 weeks here, I think.
You're really making me feel old talking about you being doing this 12 years. I remember when you played. In fact, I think you and I did a radio game together a long time ago.
It's very hard to explain offsides over the radio.
It's hard
difficult. I remember that.
It's hard for me to explain anything as it is, but that's been a few years ago. Justin, Hannah, Cora, thank you all so much for joining us. Before we go, let's preview what's coming up this week for the Lady Saints in terms of games.
Well, we had this yesterday circled on our calendar, day game, everybody's excited. So, we got through that, and now we've got the gauntlet to face Overton. And they're coming to town on Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Come out and support because, it's always a battle with them. They, probably last 6 years, they've probably won 4 championships in the last 6 years. And you could see at the Livingston level when they get to the high school what Coach K has to deal with over there, too. Yeah. They're always solid up there. They've had the same coach, great coaching staff. But I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a good, probably 1-goal, 2-goal game. It's going to be who wants it the most. And I think we're going to rise to the occasion Tuesday. So come out. Right. Tuesday night's going to be a barn burner, if you will.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, yes.
6 o'clock on Tuesday. Come on out and watch the Lady Saints and support them. Big match with Overton County. They I know what you're talking about. They've set the bar high up there.
Yeah, they do. They have. It was in my high school days. It took us so long to get there. And Coach Camo's group finally came in and beat them, I think. And then we've had their number a few times, and now we're trying to get their number at the middle school level here, too.
All right, get those fans out there. Let's cheer on the Lady Saints as they take on Overton County coming up on Tuesday night. Thank y'all so much. We'll have you back certainly coming up here in a few weeks and talk some more DMS soccer. We'll come back. Let's talk some Saints football. This is DC Blitz, presented by DeKalb County Insurance.
Unrivaled service and practical advice from Jeff and Grant James at DeKalb County Insurance. With auto, homeowners, life and annuities, property and liability, Medicare supplement, and business policies available. Receive seriously good insurance with great coverage and prices. DeKalb County Insurance is an independent agency that shops multiple carriers, such as Erie, Allstate, Travelers, State Auto, Progressive, and many more. Call today for a quote. DeKalb County Insurance, 615-597-0660.
Looking for the perfect property? Town and Lake Realty and Auction is your #1 choice when it comes to DeKalb County real estate. Specializing in lakefront properties, land, and residential real estate, we offer both traditional real estate services and innovative online, live, and simulcast auctions. With over $250 million in closed volume, we're the largest locally owned brokerage firm in the area, providing superior resources, advertising, and expertise. For the best in real estate, trust Town and Lake Realty and Auction to deliver exceptional results. Discover the difference today by visiting townandlake.com or calling 615-215-7653.
Since 2015, Vitality Fit has had a passion to help any individual at many different stages in their fitness journey reach the level of health and wellness that they desire. With the multiple different services we now offer, from group training to personal training to even nutrition, you can find a service that best fits you and your goals. We have a speed and agility camp coming up August 17th through September 22nd for middle school and high school athletes to enhance their on-field performance. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram or our website, vitalityfittn.com, or you can reach us by email, vitalityfit.tc@gmail. We'd love to hear from you, and we want to help you reach your fitness goals.
When it's time to attack those outdoor landscaping projects, you want to go into battle with the tools that will help you get the job done right the first time. After all, your time is precious. When you're ready to go on the offensive, let Southern Landscape Supply get you armed with the best landscaping tools on the market. Southern Landscape Supply is the home of Bad Boy mowers, tractors, UTVs, and handheld tools. Bad Boy, with their legendary reputation for strength, performance, and value. Hustler mowers, DeWalt, Red Max, and Echo handheld power tools, specialty turf equipment, and more. Plus, they offer the best parts and second-to-none customer service. Ready to attack your landscaping project? Prepare yourself with the best tools at the best value. Visit Southern Landscape Supply, 611 Rich Froning Way in Cookeville, or online at thesouthernlandscapesupply.com.
Wild Honey Spray Tans is locally owned and operated here in DeKalb County. We pride ourselves in giving you the perfect tan every time. Get the benefits of golden skin without the damaging effects of the sun or a tanning bed. Mention this ad and receive 20% off your first tan. You can reach us at 615-410-6489 or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Sun-kissed perfection awaits.
At Love Cantrell Funeral Home, we understand that this life is a journey filled with highs and lows. Just as every game has its final whistle, so too does every life have its final moment. When that time comes, Love Cantrell Funeral Home would love the opportunity to earn your trust. We provide compassionate care and professional services to fit your family's financial needs. Whether you're celebrating a life well lived or finding comfort in the time of sudden loss, we're here to support you every step of the way. Love Cantrell Funeral Home has been a proud sponsor of all DeKalb County athletics for over 65 years. Love Cantrell Funeral Home, where love is not only in our name, but also in our services.
Smithville FBC is proud to support DC Blitz and all DeKalb sports. We have a place for you to call home on Sunday mornings and Wednesday night. We have nursery available. Pre-K through 5th graders are welcome to join Faith Kids. 6th through 12th graders are welcome to join FBC students, and everyone's outside of that is welcome to join all of our adult ministries. We meet Wednesday nights at 6, and Sunday morning small groups begin at 9 with worship at 10. Join us at Smithville FBC. It's a place to call home.
When closing on a new home or piece of property, you want the process to be as smooth as possible. For almost 20 years, DeKalb Title LLC has been helping new property owners in Smithville and DeKalb County through that process promptly and efficiently. As your trusted title expert and closing company, they believe buying or selling real estate should be a joyous occasion, and their team does everything possible to keep it that way. DeKalb Title works to make sure your transaction gets to the closing table and your new property is secure for years to come. Let DeKalb Title help you close and protect your residential, commercial, or new construction transaction today. Call 615-597-2303 or visit them online at DeKalbTitle.com.
The owner and many technicians at Home Surveillance have a background in law enforcement, so we understand your concern for your family's safety and your business need for security. Home Surveillance provides sales and installation of security cameras, home theater and surround sound, church and business live streaming, networking solutions, new construction pre-wiring, and more. Visit our website for more information, homesurveillance.com, or give us a call at 615-597-6287. We're back on the Blitz. We are presented to you by DeKalb County Insurance. Tom Duggan for the Blitz. We've given Coach and Kelly a little time off, and so I can go eat a little breakfast this morning. And we've got DeKalb Middle School Saints head football coach Justin Poteet and a couple of his players, Colin Donnell and Reed Midget, with us. We'll get to you players coming up. We've got a couple more that's going to join us here a little bit later. Coach, Casey kind of touched on it to start the show today. 5-0. He says this is the best Saints team since 2018 when y'all had that fantastic season. Do you feel that way about this team?
Definitely a lot of talent for sure on this group. I think a big part of that is a lot of these guys have been playing for 2 or 3 years. But, you know, what kind of sets them apart, very similar to the 2018 group, was their buy-in. You know, these kids come out ready to work each day. They really, I feel like they really rep the S, and they want to compete. You know, it's at the middle school level. If you're physical, you're going to be pretty successful. And I feel like we've got some kids who embrace that physicality and they work. You know, they want to get better each and every day. And they've truly bought in. So, you know, that kind of stands out to me more than their skill set. And that's easy to coach.
When you say buy in, how hard is it to get a team to buy in? And do you ever run across an instance where part of your team's bought in, part's not, and you got to deal with some of that?
Absolutely. You know, middle school kids, you know, they're into a lot of different things. You know, the world of middle school is totally different than when I came through, for sure. But, you know, that selfish nature can always creep in. Can be the same way as adults, too. So it's just kind of, you know, looking at the people beside you. You know, in football, there's 11 guys, so it's you and 10 guys. And you know, when they're in that huddle, I truly feel like this group can look at everybody that's in that huddle and know that they're going to work and do what they have to do for everybody in that huddle. So that's definitely a hard thing, but I think that you can tell the teams that buy in versus the teams that don't. And that's a learning curve. You know, in middle school, a lot of these kids, it's first year to play or second year to play oftentimes. And that's something that they have to learn. That's part of the middle school sports is, you know, do you want them to peak in middle school? Absolutely not. You want them to keep building each year, you know, by the time they're in high school. That's the overall goal. We want to be successful for sure, but it is kind of a stepping stone. But I do feel, to answer your question, I guess, it's evident the teams that buy in versus the teams that don't on the field.
What's maybe the one thing right away when a new player comes into the Saints program, the first thing you want that player to know and get a grasp of?
Be ready to put it all out there. You know, the first thing that we preach, and I believe these guys will back me on this, is your attitude and your effort. We can work with that. It doesn't really matter what your skill set is coming in. Now, does that help? Absolutely. But we want kids in this program who's going to do what we ask them to do and go 110.
Let's talk about the season to date. What have been 5-0? I mean, a lot of things are obviously going right for you. What are some things that really stand out about this team, other than the buy-in, obviously?
Physicality. I feel like every team that we've played has probably been as big or bigger than us, but these kids don't back down. A mantra that we've had that these kids have truly grasped over the last 2 years especially is that we don't take the backseat to anybody. And when we line up, it doesn't matter if we're lining up against Cumberland County Middle School or if we're lining up against DeKalb County High School. Go out there and play ball. So that's the biggest thing is the physicality. I feel like that every team that we have played, we've gotten them on their heels. We might not start fast, but we've gotten them on their heels.
As you look at the team moving forward, and you're well on into your season now, I know we're just second week into the show, but you're 5 games in. Are there still some things that's kind of hanging over this team that, hey, we need to work these things out, you know, before we get to the end and start thinking about postseason?
Oh, absolutely. I feel like I just mentioned, we got to start games a little faster. The Macon County game I thought was our most complete game as far as start to finish. So, you know, it's just we talk about it, you know, the process of the season being a ladder. You want to go up one step at a time. That standard is there for sure. You know, these guys just have to make sure that they don't get a big head. You know, we have won 5 games, but nobody's winning a championship winning 5 games. So each week's a new week, and that work ethic's just got to be there and keep striving to get better.
Coach, to really, you know, build a good, solid program, you got to work during the off season. What are some things that you emphasize for your Saints program that for your players to do during the off season?
So we start in March. We do some lifts, pretty light lifting as far as just the basics, and then we do a conditioning program, very similar to the high school when I came through. And that's just kind of to incorporate that buy-in and get those kids, you know, to see, hey, this is what we do here. We work, you know, and it's a program. It's not just a team. You know, you're coming into this, and we're going to work from March all the way through till the season. So we do lifts and conditioning through March through May. We do a short spring session in May, and then things kind of drop a little in the summer. We do some lifting again in June, but that's kind of a little bit of downtime, two days a week. And then once July hits, our season starts the beginning of August. So once July hits, it's back to the grind of football right after dead period.
Day game yesterday, I believe a 40-0 win over Warren County.
Yes, sir.
Second game of the week. I want to touch on that first of all. How difficult is it to play 2 games within a span of about 3 days?
Well, it's difficult. I think it's a good opportunity. We played a day game last year, so you do have to tweak some things with the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You have to tweak some things with some playing time to get these kids some rest and the spell when they need it. But I think the opportunity is good for these kids. Last year we did a home one, so this year it had to be an away one.
Sure.
But I think they enjoy going out in front of their students, in front of the other students. That's what we talked about starting on Wednesday was, you got a chance to put it on somebody in front of their whole school. So that it's a good opportunity to have, and I think that these kids enjoy it. It is a little stressful, but at the end of the day, you just go out and play ball.
We've got 4 players with us. We're going to talk to 2 of them right now, then we're going to rotate 2 more in. We've got Reed Midget and Colin Donnell. Colin, I'm going to start with you with this question. Coach talked about putting it on a team in front of their student body. 40-0, that's pretty much putting it on the other team. How good does that feel to you?
No, it feels good, just to come out there in front of the other school and beat them in front of the whole students and all that. Yeah, it feels good.
How maybe motivated were you in a day game setting? Is it different than just playing a regular night game?
Yeah, Coach gets us hopped up and all that.
And what's Coach do to get you kind of hyped up before the game?
Just telling us to pop somebody in the mouth and all that.
Is it more fun to hit somebody, like really lay a lick on somebody, or to bust loose and score a big, long touchdown?
Well, hit somebody is pretty fun, but a touchdown is a touchdown.
Colin, what are some things you like about this team that you feel like really stand out about it?
My defense is great and the O-line is good. We've only got 1 touchdown scored of us all year, and our defense is very good.
Now, what positions do you play?
I play quarterback and outside linebacker.
Which one do you like better?
Quarterback.
What makes for a good quarterback in your mind? What elements do you need to have to really be a good quarterback?
Just gotta trust your O-line a lot, and just trust your running back and wide receivers.
Do you ever make your offensive lineman mad at you? Because that's probably a bad thing to do, right?
Not really. They just.
How would you summarize your offensive line this year? Is it pretty good? Would you say exceptional? What would you rank them?
It's pretty good. We haven't had anything really bad. Like every run is at least 5 yards and all that.
What can this team accomplish before the year's over, do you think?
To make it as far as we can. I think we could go pretty far this year.
Do y'all look at that 2018 team, and I know you've probably heard about them, undefeated. They had a great season. Do you feel like you can accomplish what they did?
Yeah, we could probably make it as far as they did.
All right. We're going to come down to Reed. Reed, what positions you play?
I play middle linebacker and running back.
And which one do you like best?
Probably middle linebacker.
What about middle linebacker? That seems like a position that I would have loved to have played had I played, because you're right there. Are you kind of the quarterback of the defense there?
Yes, sir.
What really stands out about that position that you really do enjoy?
I just love hitting people.
You like hitting people?
Like when they come in the gap.
You just wait for that opportunity?
Sir.
When the play develops, walk us through from a middle linebacker position. Just kind of walk us through what you're always looking for as the play opens up and develops.
Well, my first read is their guard, because we're always run first. And I see the guard drop back, I'll drop back in the pass. But if I see him down block or pull, I know it's a run.
How much time do you have to kind of react to that?
2 or 3 seconds.
So you really don't have a lot of time to think about it. You're just almost just instantly reacting, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you look at this team, let's talk about something off the football field that you feel like really binds this team this year.
Probably our chemistry. We have really good chemistry.
Is it because you've played a lot of football together?
Yes, sir. Probably just football, baseball, basketball.
How much does that help when you're not just playing football together, but other sports as well?
It helps a lot because you know your weaknesses and your good things.
When you hear your dad on the PA during the football games, do you ever have that moment where you kind of just put your hand over your face and like, oh, Dad, you didn't say that, did you?
Well, he doesn't like to announce my name that much.
Oh, okay. Is that but why?
I don't know. I think he thinks it's funny.
Okay. But do you kind of get a kick out of the fact that that your dad is the PA announcer?
Yes, sir.
All right. We get a kick out of it, too. Casey gets very animated, by the way. If you've not been to a Saints or Tigers game, you need to definitely check that out. Guys, I'm going to let you go, and we're going to rotate in a couple more players. Gavin Frazier and Levi Cripps are going to come in. Thank you, guys, for joining us. Reed Midget and Colin Donnell. Coach, while we rotate in and get these guys ready to go, this 8th grade group that you have, that you see going to the next level, what do you feel like is special about this particular group, and what are they going to offer the high school once they get there?
Well, for sure, this is a high number of 8th graders. I think we have like 20 or 21 8th graders this year. But they just, from the time that they came in as 6th graders, and some came in as 7th graders, but the competition level was always there.
Mm-hmm.
Reed Midget came in as a 6th grader and ended up starting for us as a 6th grader. Not only starting, but he played hard. And then some others fell in that 7th grade year. Gavin Frazier was on the field a lot 7th grade. Donnell was on the field a lot 7th grade. They just compete, kind of like I mentioned earlier. From the time they came in off season as 6th graders, they were working to be the best that they could be. They were going up against 8th graders, and there was no retreat. There was no, well, you're in 8th grade, so I'm going to let you go on. No, they worked and they wanted to be the best. That's the biggest thing about this group to me, of 8th graders as a whole.
We're going to be joined by 2 more players here, Gavin Frazier and Levi Cripps. Is it Gavin? Am I saying it right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just want to double check and make sure. Gavin, what positions do you play on the team?
I play outside linebacker and running back.
Okay. Which one do you like best?
It's hard to choose, but I think I prefer running back.
Prefer running back. As a running back, kind of like we were talking about with the middle linebacker position, you're waiting for things to develop. How do you see the field once the snap has occurred? What are you looking for?
Well, I just look for a hole to hit.
Do you always know where the hole is supposed to be, and do you ever have to improvise because, it's not where it's supposed to be?
Most of the time, not really. Sometimes I have to improvise because my O-line does a good job at blocking and their pull blocks, but if it gets jammed up, then I'm usually looking for outside to find a different hole.
Are there plays, people talk about, when you bust a big run open, are those by design, or does that just kind of organically happen that, the blocking up front is good, but maybe somebody on defense missed an assignment? How do those things work? I mean, can you really plan for a big run like that, or is it just kind of happen?
I don't think you really can plan for a big run. It just depends on whether your O-line wants to block or if you can break a couple tackles and get free.
Now, let's go to the outside linebacker position and talk about some of the responsibilities you have. And again, when the play kind of gets underway, what are you looking for?
Well, I'm usually just reading what their running back does. And if they're running back, I see them pass block. I know it's a pass, but if they're getting the ball, then I just know to shade right and see if they run.
Yeah. Coach Poteet talks about the physicality of this team. Talk about that a little bit, and maybe one opponent that you've gone up against that maybe was as physical as you guys are, if you've had an opponent that's been that physical.
Well, I think either Smith County or Warren County has been their most physical game, but we usually just are more physical than them. And Warren County hit me pretty hard, but
yeah.
I just never let that back me down.
When you get hit hard, how do you react to that? Especially as a running back, I mean, you're getting into some holes and you're meeting some linebackers that are coming full speed at you. What's it like? I mean, I'm sure you get shaken up a little bit. How do you shake that off and just keep going?
Well, I think it's mostly just my mentality. If they hit me, I'm just, all right, get back up, next play.
Just keep on going.
Yes, sir.
All right. Levi Cripps is our next guest. And Levi, what positions do you play?
I play wide receiver and cornerback.
And which one do you like best?
Probably wide receiver.
How can compare those two positions? Because in a way, there's some similarities. Obviously, one, you're catching the ball. The other, you're trying to stop somebody from catching the ball and catch it yourself if you can. Kind of look at that and maybe tell us, the similarities of those two positions as you play them.
Mostly footwork. It takes a lot of running and practice.
Is there any difference in the footwork for a receiver as opposed to a cornerback?
Cornerback is mostly backpedaling.
Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver, it's mostly working on routes, so it's getting the footwork down to run the routes right.
Being a cornerback on defense, how much does that help you as a wide receiver, knowing that position in and out?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Just as a wide receiver, knowing that you also play cornerback, does that give you somewhat of an advantage when you play a receiver, knowing how the cornerback position works? Does that give you a little bit of edge, do you think?
A little bit. You just gotta read whatever. If they're blocking, you gotta try to go make tackle. But if they're running a route, just keep up with them.
Levi, when you look at this 5-0 start, maybe single out the one win that might have been the biggest of all of them for you and the Saints.
Maybe Cumberland County. I think that was a pretty good game.
Good game. Did you play up there or did you play it here?
We played here.
Played here? What's it like playing in front of the home fans as maybe opposed to playing on the road and, when you've got maybe more opposing fans there?
It's fun playing at home. It's a little bit different playing away. It's just different. I don't know.
In a game like yesterday, though, where you're playing in front of their student body, is it pretty gratifying, though, when you go in there and you really get a big win like that to do it on their home field?
Yes, sir, it does.
You get excited about that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's talk about away from football. What are some things that you guys do, even maybe away from sports in general, that brings this group really close together?
I play a lot of AAU basketball with these guys, and just growing with them.
Just growing and getting closer and getting to know each other. Guys, thank you so much, Levi Cripps and Gavin Frazier, Coach Poteet. We appreciate you. What's coming up this week for the DeKalb County Saints?
So we have an away game this week at Prescott. Then we'll come back home for Upperman. That's always a good game, good atmosphere against Upperman for sure. And then we'll wrap the season up against Sparta with a pretty important game on the road over the next 3 weeks. And then, we'll kind of see where we're sitting at the end of that. Hopefully it's at the top. But, playoffs will probably be in picture for us this year. That's our goal. So,
how do the playoffs work in terms of who makes it, who doesn't, and where are those playoff games played at?
So, our conference is 11 teams. It is the same as the high school region, with the exception of Smith County, York, and a couple of Cookville schools are in that region as well. So you have sides. One side has 5, the other side has 6. So you have to be 1 or 2 on your side. We have 6 teams on our side, so you have to be 1 or 2 to make a playoff. If you are the 1 seed, you host the first game, and then it's 1 versus 2, much like the college football playoff was. Or I'm sorry, but there's only 4 teams that make it total. So 1 versus 2 from each side. If we're the 1, we'll play the other side's 2, and winner goes to the championship. So you get the 2 best teams. It used to be a little different. They used to just do 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2. But now you're going to get the 2 best teams truly in the championship. And then that championship game it flips. One side will host 1 year if they're equal seeds, and then it will flip the other year. If you're a higher seed and you end up playing a 2 from the other side, then you'll host.
All right. So plenty of football still to go. Again, 5 games under your belt, but some big games coming up.
Yes, sir.
Get out, watch the DeKalb Middle School Saints football team. Coach, players, thank you all for joining us today. Really do appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll come back. We'll have Coach Kelly, and we'll bring Casey back for the last segment. This is DC Blitz, presented by DeKalb County Insurance.
It seems like the cost of everything is on the rise, but Erie Insurance can help make sure your auto insurance premium isn't one of them. Avoid rate increases with Erie Rate Lock. Even if you have a claim, your rates won't go up until you change a car, driver, or address.
Your Erie agent is DeKalb County Insurance. Get a quote today at DeKalbInsurance.net.
Erie Rate Lock is not available in all states. Other conditions and limitations at ErieInsurance.com. Go to ErieInsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Wild Honey Spray Tans is locally owned and operated here in DeKalb County. We pride ourselves in giving you the perfect tan every time. Get the benefits of golden skin without the damaging effects of the sun or a tanning bed. Mention this ad and receive 20% off your first tan. You can reach us at 615-410-6489 or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Sun-kissed perfection awaits.
Since 2015, Vitality Fit has had a passion to help any individual at many different stages in their fitness journey reach the level of health and wellness that they desire. With the multiple different services we now offer, from group training to personal training to even nutrition, you can find a service that best fits you and your goals. We have a speed and agility camp coming up August 17th through September 22nd for middle school and high school athletes to enhance their on-field performance. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram or our website, vitalityfittn.com, or you can reach us by email, vitalityfit.tc@gmail. We'd love to hear from you, and we want to help you reach your fitness goals.
When closing on a new home or piece of property, you want the process to be as smooth as possible. For almost 20 years, DeKalb Title LLC has been helping new property owners in Smithville and DeKalb County through that process promptly and efficiently. As your trusted title expert and closing company, they believe buying or selling real estate should be a joyous occasion, and their team does everything possible to keep it that way. DeKalb Title works to make sure your transaction gets to the closing table and your new property is secure for years to come. Let DeKalb Title help you close and protect your residential, commercial, or new construction transaction today. Call 615-597-2303 or visit them online at DeKalbTitle.com.
Bad Boy tractors are born from the legendary Bad Boy mowers from 20 to 35 horsepower. Subcompact to midsize, Bad Boy combines power, performance, comfort, and as always, builds strength to deliver the workhorse dependability you need to get the job done and done right. Homeowner, landscaper, or rancher, there's a Bad Boy tractor for you to work with an attitude. Find your big boy tractor at Southern Landscape Supply, 611 Rich Froning Way in Cookeville. Visit them online at thesouthernlandscapesupply.com.
Just like the excitement of the big game, life is filled with unforgettable moments. At Love Cantrell Funeral Home, we understand that when the final moment comes, you want to honor those moments with dignity and care. Whether you're celebrating a life well lived or finding solace in a time of grief, our compassionate staff is here to provide the support you need. Trust Love Cantrell Funeral Home to guide you through with respect and professionalism. Love Cantrell Funeral Home is a proud sponsor of DeKalb County Athletics through 3 generations. At Love Cantrell Funeral Home, love is not only in our name, but also in our services.
At Home Services, we work with both residential and commercial properties to provide many services, specializing in dump truck delivery of rock, dirt, and other materials, driveways and parking lots, excavation, finish grading of yards, erosion control, snow removal, and more. Plus, septic tank installation, repairs, septic tank pumping, and porta potty rentals. Learn more by visiting our website at homeservicestn.com or give us a call at 615-597-6287.
Looking for the perfect property? Town and Lake Realty and Auction is your #1 choice when it comes to DeKalb County real estate. Specializing in lakefront properties, land, and residential real estate, we offer both traditional real estate services and innovative online, live, and simulcast auctions. With over $250 million in closed volume, we're the largest locally owned brokerage firm in the area, providing superior resources, advertising, and expertise. For the best in real estate, trust Town and Lake Realty and Auction to deliver exceptional results. Discover the difference today by visiting townandlake.com or calling 615-215-7653.
Smithville FBC is proud to support DC Blitz and all DeKalb sports. We have a place for you to call home on Sunday mornings and Wednesday night. We have nursery available. Pre-K through 5th graders are welcome to join Faith Kids. 6th through 12th graders are welcome to join FBC students, and everyone's outside of that is welcome to join all of our adult ministries. We meet Wednesday nights at 6, and Sunday morning small groups begin at 9 with worship at 10. Join us at Smithville FBC. It's a place to call home.
DC Blitz presented by DeKalb County Insurance. Big thanks to all of our sponsors, particularly DeKalb County Insurance, our title sponsor for this fall sports 2024 season. Tom Duggan back with Kelly Piper and the coach Chris Vance and Casey Midget. Going to run through the schedule of what's to come this week. As we look ahead, we've talked about some of it, and we're going to jump a little bit more into what's coming up. Let's start with the Lady Saints soccer. Justin mentioned that Overton County, big game coming up Tuesday night at home that gets underway at 6 o'clock. Then they'll travel to Upperman coming up on Thursday. A couple of big games certainly this week for the Lady Saints as they look to improve on their 2-2-2 record. The DeKalb County girls soccer team,
They'll step out of region play to take on Tullahoma coming up on Monday. 2 home matches, in fact, this week for Coach K's squad as they will come back on Thursday to take on White County. DeKalb County High School Tiger football team, as we mentioned earlier, will be traveling to Carthage to take on Smith County. The Tigers actually with back-to-back road games. They'll travel to Carthage. Then next Friday, it's the Open of Region play going up to Livingston Academy. Golf, that season's starting to wind down. If my schedule's correct, they've got 1 match left scheduled. That could be a little bit off. But I know they're going to Upperman to play on the 5th. They're not going to Upperman. Obviously, they'll play on a golf course. But I think Daniel Leslie, by the way, our producer, he's done everything this morning with all these technical malfunctions. He's been all over the place. We appreciate him. But he said, I think they're going to Honky Tonk National. Are they tomorrow on Sunday? Okay. Tuesday. Okay, so they'll have a match sometime this week, maybe on Tuesday. So we got that. Volleyball, and we're hoping to get them on at some point, but they've been playing some matches on Saturday. They've got a busy week. Monday at Cannon County, Tuesday at Stone Memorial, then Friday they'll play at Livingston. Next Saturday, they'll go to a tri-match where they'll take on Smith County Monterey, so a lot going on there. And cross country, if my schedule's correct, they will be getting their season underway on September 7th. And the MSCCA Voiles Classic at the Hermitage that Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. We'll try to get to some cross-country on next week. We hadn't talked about that. Kelly, I want to jump onto you because we haven't talked a whole lot about West School sports because, well, a lot of that's focused, I know, around basketball and some of the kids that play for the Saints football team, but I know it won't be long. You'll be firing up the round ball season and kind of where are you at right now in preparation for the season, and what are some things coming up for West School basketball?
We actually start, we'll do 2 practices on next week. Like I said, my season depends on how well the Saints football team does. And right now it looks like they're going to be doing pretty good. So Levi Cripps that was here and Landon Holmes are 2 of my main players. So we really can't get going until then. But I do have I think 23 boys. Yes, I'm crazy. I know. I do have a good assistant.
You got a football team there.
I have a good assistant, but I'm also allowed to have 5th grade. So I have a 5th and 6th grade team, and I have a 7th and 8th grade team, which really helps us throughout the season. We play most nights. We will play 4 games. We'll start at 4:30 with girls basketball, and then it'll be girls JV, boys JV, and then girls varsity, boys varsity. And we play several teams. We play a lot of Smith County and Wilson County teams. We're just not big enough to go play the Cookeville teams. We're choosing, I think there's maybe 170 kids in 6th, 7th, and 8th at the West School, where the middle schools, I think, at maybe 600 or 700. So we can't go play the bigger schools. But this year, I do feel like I will have a pretty good boys team. The girls team, they lost most of all their players. I think they graduated 5 8th graders last year. They did the majority of the playing. So they're in a rebuilding season. Also, and we've talked about this with other coaches, at the West School, and I'm not sure about the middle school numbers, we're boy heavy in class sizes, and the girls are not. I think there's only like maybe 12 girls in the 8th grade, and some of them are cheerleaders, and some of them don't play sports at all.
Right.
So it's kind of hard when you are at a small school. There's great things about it because we do get to start them in 5th grade. But when you have these shallow years of girls, because there's not many girls in the 7th grade, and there's not many girls, it's the 6th grade before they start picking back up. 5th grade is loaded with girls. 5th grade is sitting with a lot of talent in the girls department. Some of them may end up having to start, which is very hard to have a 5th grader playing an 8th grader. And especially with the way the girls have matured a whole lot faster. I mean, half the time the girls' basketball team is taller than my boys' basketball team until about April. But we're looking forward to it. We start the Best of the West. The Alexandria Lions Club has hosted that. I want to think it's like maybe 25 years, 30 years.
Long time, yeah.
They're getting into, and it's a great benefit for them. It's how they pay for a lot of the things that they do through the year. And DeKalb West is more than happy to host that. I've actually had numerous teams calling, trying to get into that tournament. So I'm going to start working on brackets and see what I can squeeze into 6 days of basketball.
I remember, I think Darvin Gill and I did some of the best at the West, probably when you were playing. So that's been a couple years ago.
It's been a few years.
So,
and let's see, DTC will cover some of it. I don't know that they will video the games, and I don't know if they go back and rebroadcast
that's typically what they've done is re-air them, I think.
Yeah. And and now one of Nick Notes' son is on my basketball team now, so I may get all my games on TV. I have to work something out with him, but we're looking forward to, like I said, especially the boys' season. We're really looking forward to, and that's what I coach. The girls, I drive a school bus, so I'm not there for their practices, but I know they're going to get started the 1st of September, so basketball is fixing to slap us in the face and be an everyday thing.
Yep, absolutely. It's around the corner. Fall's around the corner. I think meteorological. Did I say that right? I don't think I did. Fall starts the 1st, but I think fall officially starts later in the month. I'm ready for it.
The 22nd of September is the last day of summer.
Watch her show out. Look at that.
My son was that was the day my son was born.
Okay, that's easy to remember then. When we talk about things coming up, Casey, we're going to come down to you. And what's something that, whether it's this week and some of the local sports schedule, what's something that you're really looking forward to coming up on the sports scene?
Well, we got some action coming today. Junior Pro football is today. Their first home game is today. You have the Pee-wees, the juniors, and the seniors. It's actually homecoming. So,
all right.
Everybody should come out and support that. Game start at 4. I think homecoming ceremonies start at 2. Which means I'll have to be out there at 1 probably.
Warm that voice up.
Yeah, I have to, I've always said, I'd rather call a hockey game as do a homecoming because you read everybody's mama and daddy and what they want to do, and you never say the names right. So it gets kind of embarrassing sometimes, but it's a lot of fun.
The kids get to they have fun with it. That's the most fun about it. Let the kids really enjoy that. So who are they playing today, by the way?
I don't
remember.
Know. Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, that's okay. They're playing. That's all that matters, and it's homecoming.
Yep, they are playing.
All right, 4
and it starts at what time?
Well, games start at 4.
There you go.
Homecoming starts at 2. I knew that. I knew all the important things. I just know there's a victim coming to Smithville today.
All right. That's all that matters. Come on out and watch Junior Pro today. Again, homecoming festivities at 2 and games at 4, right? Yep. Okay. All right. Coach, what about you, man? What's coming up that you're fired up about?
Well, I knew that we were talking middle school football and soccer, and I started thinking of some names at the middle school coaching, and what I'm trying to do, my part here, we can talk sports or whatever, but I love to throw out as many names as I can, and in this case, it's not necessarily players, but it's former coaches, because when I moved to DeKalb County, Bill Tanner was the head coach at the middle school, and then I think after he left, Larry Reasanover was the coach for a little bit over there, and that's about the extent of my knowledge.
Tommy Alexander and Daddy coached. I don't know how long Daddy helped him, but I know Tommy Alexander coached for
a long
time. Yeah, because I can remember when Dad coached, I would have to go to the football practices, and I think that might have been my reason I don't like football.
What?
No, I love to watch football, but football practice is just insane.
It's probably because Coach Tommy scared everybody to death.
Well, that too, yeah.
When we moved over, Tommy Alexander was helping with the high school, so I don't know if he moved up in the ranks as Rob moved up in the ranks, that sort of thing.
I can remember Rob is 2 years older than me. Me and Rob played together at practice, like we were throwing footballs or doing something all the time at practice, and that was when there wasn't that fence around the middle school, so we might be out the road sometimes with bicycles. So Tommy, like I said, I know it was in the early 80s through the 90s he coached at the middle school, because Robbie didn't go to the high school until about 93,
somewhere in there. Yeah. So
I have a middle school annual, and it's stupid the things you think of, I guess. But just thinking about how far we've come in it was my 7th or 8th grade. They had pictures of the football team, and they have Coach Tommy standing on the sideline coaching, smoking a cigar on the sideline.
So I can remember Miss Bryant. She was a manager, and that's when the bait store was over there.
Yeah.
And he would send her over there to get him a can of dip or some cigarettes. And I mean, that's why I said it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He did do that.
Well, Coach, you brought up a couple of names that probably haven't been mentioned in DeKalb County sports for a while. Coach Bill Tanner, I remember him. He was PE coach down at the West School, I think, maybe my last year at West School. And Larry Reasenover, knew Larry very well, and he coached there for a while. And I was sitting here while you were talking about that, trying to process all the people that I remember who've coached the Saints over the years, and I'm starting to draw a blank. I remember a few. But Mike Shockley actually coached the Saints, I think, for a year when he was a basketball coach at DeKalb for the DeKalb girls high school team. And I know there's been countless others that we're leaving out. But I got to say this, for Justin Poteet and Hunter and their staff and them having played for Coach Trout, I think what they're doing there is great. They're passionate about football. And, Chris, you know this as well as anybody. When you've got a good middle school program feeding your high school program and everybody's on the same page, man, you just can't beat that.
It's a tight-knit connection because Coach Trapp talked last week about Hunter and Justin, and they adopt the same work ethic and coaching method and life skills that he instills in his players, the Tiger Pride. Right. And so that starts not at 9th grade. That starts at 6th grade, if not back in the junior pro with all of these kids. So not only are they getting a very similar offensive style and defensive style that the high school is going to run, but it's also the terminology and it's also the character building. And so it's more than just being able to step in as a 9th grader and get time on the grass. It's having that good, solid character that you can carry in the locker room. As far as leaderships, even as 9th graders, you talk about 5th graders going to have to step on the court, but these guys having to step up, and they're ready for that. And it makes the high school level coaching so much easier, and it also promotes that success that Coach Trapp has seen for the, forget 13. It's probably like 19 out of the last 20.
Yeah.
That he's been.
And with this group of junior high football, which my son, he's the same age, he does not play football. He's never asked to play. They've all played. I can remember him being 4 or 5 and playing up here baseball, and they have played basketball. We don't seem to mix as much. A little bit of AAU, but for baseball and football, those kids, like we were talking about earlier, Colin and Reed and Levi and Gavin and Maddox, they were playing peewee baseball together, and they've just learned each other, and they're they have a good time. But their parents also recognize. I mean, Reed I see Reed more on the baseball field. Reed is a great great baseball player, and then I haven't seen him play basketball as much. But he plays basketball. But the parents recognize that there's a good core group of kids feeding, and as coaches, and this is kind of coaches, share your athletes, because it's killing me that the football team's doing so well because I can't start basketball, but I'm okay with that because football makes Landon and Levi better basketball players, and it's probably the same thing. I'm sure Coach Quarles would say the same thing, and Coach Norris will say the same thing about them when they get to baseball. You have to share these kids, and you have to give them the time to do the things that they love, or you're going to burn them out, and they're not going to want to be in your sport. And sometimes in high school that gets to be. I know when I coached over in Smith County, they didn't want to share the girls, and I'm like, I can't have a program if you don't share your athletes, because they can't. The major sports are football and basketball. But your minor sports, which are baseball and soccer and tennis and golf, you have to share those kids. You have to let them discover what they want to be good at. And that makes your program better for every sport.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Smaller counties, we have to share. We have to share the athletes, and not only that, but support the programs. And I've seen more of that in DeKalb County in the last few years than ever before, and I love that. And all the coaches from other sports come out. Basketball coaches go out and support football, except Kelly because she don't like football.
I know. I have been to 3 football games.
Touchdowns.
Ever.
I used to. Hey, I went
I'm
all
kidding.
the time in high school, and I don't know who we played, and I don't know if we won or not. But that was like the social event. You went to the football games. But now I've heard Casey Midget scream, "Saints touchdown!" And it's so funny. He does not. Sorry. He doesn't yell Reed's name as loud though. When Reed scored a touchdown at the game I was at, and he was like, "Touchdown, Reed Midget," and I was like, "Dude, that's your kid. You gotta, he's got to scream it out." But
he's got to earn it.
I gave Levi the Macon County game. He opening play was a. Kickoff, and he took it. They had somebody else back, and it went right to him. And I was like, "Dude, you were 2 yards short. You just couldn't make it 2 more yards where they could yell that you got the touchdown." And he was like, "Well, I was like, that don't matter." I was like, "You got to get across that line." I was like, "You got to represent the West School down there, at the middle school." And he was like, "Miss Kelly," and I was like, "You got to score a touchdown, dude." I was like, "You can't." And the next play, it was I think Reed running in, and I was like, "Reed got all the glory, and you didn't get nothing because you." And I was like, "You just ran all the way down the field and let Reed have it."
That's right.
And but I love it. I love that these kids and my son wants to go, and he wants to go and watch and support his friends. And so I have been to more middle school football games this year than I ever have in my entire life.
I'll have to say it was funny to hear Coach Poteet talk about how they needed to start fast. What's really funny is the first 2 games of the season, they ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean,
He wants to start faster than that.
I don't know how you start faster than that. And then the third game, Levi ran it all the way to the 2-yard line. And they scored on the next play. So got to do better than that, guys.
I was kind of like, how do you start off scoring? Like, I mean, one play and you scored. I was like, they started pretty fast the game I saw, but coaches are never satisfied.
Never.
I've had this privilege a couple of times with Connor. I was able to introduce Carly, but we didn't take it any further than that as far as a live broadcast went. Twice with Connor, situations basketball, and then with soccer. And I talked last week about, it's a different world when you have to explain to a viewing audience that your son just got a red card and is no longer there. What is it like for you, because you've done that same thing with Reed, to talk about your son and describe the actions that he's done on a football field to an audience?
It's painful. I can tell you. It really is. Like, I would never want anyone to think that I would put my kid above anybody else. And unfortunately for Reed, I think I probably take that too far a lot of times. Reed, it's funny how many people bring up about me saying, touchdown Reed or whatever, when Reed does something. It's really funny how many people notice that. But Reed, he gets it. And we go on together about it. He knows how much I love him. He knows how much I'm proud of him. And it's just, part of trying to be a little bit humble.
In some ways, he's a coach's kid. Because poor Maddox, he doesn't get to play in basketball because I'm the first one to sub him out. And he's like, "Why am I coming out?" I said, "Because your mama's not going to yell at me for taking you out."
Right. 100%. Yeah.
But I was raised that way. I mean, I can remember Dad yelling at me, and I was like, I didn't even have the ball. Why are you yelling at me? But then when I got to college, it was the same thing. And Coach Hudson was yelling at me one day, and I was just sitting there looking at him. I was like, I was sitting on the bench. I was not involved in that. And then after the game, he came to me. He goes, "Do you know why I was yelling at you?" And I was like, No, sir, I have no idea. He goes, "Because you can take it." Yep. And he said, "The players that can't take it," he goes, "I got to find the ones that can take it." And he said, "Get the message through."
That's
I was
exactly
like,
right.
Okay, I got it.
I always remember when Linus Martin was coaching the Tigers. We used to joke about it, still joke about it with some people. When John Malone played, I swear, Linus would yell at John. There were games after John Malone left. I think Linus called timeout, drove to wherever John Malone was, and yelled at him, and came back. So I know what you mean. Some kids take it a little bit better. I think, the yelling and stuff. Some more than others, but I always joke about that. Casey, Casey cracked me up last night. He was like Mike Keith on steroids when DeKalb would score, and then Warren County would score, be like, touchdown Warren County.
Hey, it's home field advantage.
Well, that's what I wanted the kids to say. I think you asked Levi, what's the difference in playing home and away? And I'm like, the announcer has to be. I was like, because they get your name right and they call out that, they're excited. Everybody's screaming. The band plays. I was like, when you're the visitor, they're like, touchdown.
Yeah. You're going to have to get a backup announcer, though, for Reed. So when he does something good, you can hand the mic to your backup announcer, and then they can get excited.
Yeah. He wouldn't know what to do. He'd be like, what's going on?
I want to keep him working,
Yeah.
He might get big-headed if I scream his name out there.
Nah, not Reed.
By the way, that tiger sound effect, I thought the toilet had stopped up there for a couple of times. That's a weirdest sounding sound effect, but I was getting a kick out of that last night, too. A lot of fun. Hey, get out and support these student athletes, y'all, because fall sports, I love all the sports, but I love this time of year because it's the start of the school year. The weather starts to get cool, and the older I'm getting, I guess I love fall because I love that crispness in the air. So it's a good time of year to get out and support our student athletes, these coaches. Coaches take a whole lot of grief. Kelly knows that. Chris knows that. Casey, you've coached some stuff too. I mean, there's never a coach that does anything right a lot of times. So you don't understand. A lot of these people are doing what they do because they love it and they love these kids, not because they're getting paid a lot of money. So, get out and enjoy them, support them. Win, lose, draw, it doesn't matter. What's important is we support the athletics in our county. All right, Casey, thanks for being out here. Thank you for saving our bacon this morning by setting us up here at First Bank. Appreciate it. Of course, we'll have you back throughout the course of the season to talk more sports with us, and we're going to bring Casey on board full-time, but he realized he's got 28 other things going on, so we'll bring him in when we can. Appreciate our guest today, Justin Poteet and his players, Justin Oaks, and a couple of his players joining us. Coach, as always, enjoy having you, and enjoy your guy. I think you got Gordonsville and Watertown next week, right?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
DTC. So
we'll cover the DeKalb game week 4.
Okay. All right. And Kelly, go watch a football game. And I mean, you can stay outside the fence and play if you want to, but go to the football game.
I will try. I'm about like Casey. I have 47,000 things. I have 2 kids that are still. I have, which I think Marley and John Casey are about the same age. Yep. I'm at a practice 2 nights a week. Maddox is going to have practice 2 or 3 nights a week. So. I'll get to a football game when I can. I still have to do laundry, and I have a husband that likes to see me every once in a while.
Well, I was surprised when you did accept our invitation to join the show. I'm proud you did, but I know you got a lot going on, so we do appreciate you taking time.
If I'm missing, y'all know I'm at a ball field somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate all of our staff here, and Daniel Leslie, our producer, behind the scenes, making everything go. We appreciate all his hard work. Today's been a stressful day for him, but he's handled it and has been working with stuff at the Smithville First Baptist Church. They've got an event going on, so he's been doing both setups at once. So amazing guy. We appreciate him. DeKalb County Insurance, a title sponsor for all of our sponsors. We appreciate you, and of course all of our viewers out there at home. Thank you so much. We're just getting the show started. It's going to grow, continue to get bigger and better, and we certainly hope that you'll be along for the ride as we cover all sports here in DeKalb County each Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. For Casey, Coach, Kelly, Daniel, I'm Tom Duggan. We'll see you next week on The Blitz.